Welcome to a new video and the first herping video that we're going to film in New South Wales. And today we're heading out for some road cruises. I've got 2, possibly 3 nights here, probably just 2 nights. And we're going to possibly hike on our trail in the day, but mainly we're going to cruise at night, and we're going to see if we can find a rough-scaled snake is my main target because I'm about to drop out of range of them. But we're also in a good spot for deathaders and Stevens banded snakes, so they're going to be what we're mainly looking for. I think we're dreaming pretty big with the deathaders and the banded snakes, but we've succeeded in those before, in one of them at least. So yeah, as you can see, we're in a pretty awesome spot. Nice place to camp. I've got 2 nights here in the roof tent, and we're just going to hit the nights on the road and see how we do. Pretty much as soon as I filmed that intro, we went out cruising because we had quite low temperatures that dropped quickly after dark. So I was keen to make the most of the first hour or 2 of dark, as I felt this was the only real time we'd have a chance to find snakes moving. First snake on the road is this juvenile small-eyed snake, Cryptophis nigrescens. Small little venomous elapids. We've seen a few of these before. They're not a particularly uncommon snake. I suppose that a lot of people would think they're quite plain, just being jet black, but it has started the night out, which is encouraging because I was beginning to worry about the temperatures. It's only just over 20 degrees right now, so it's encouraging to get this one. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time with him just because I want to keep cruising for some other species. But one thing that hopefully comes out on the footage is how really jet black that head is in compared to the grey body of the snake, which actually made me think at first glance it might be a grey snake, a hemiaspis species, but it's not. It is Cryptophis. Let's carry on cruising. Got another pail of Burtons here, right next to this stick. So I thought it was just 2 sticks, but at the last minute I thought, nah, he was just in that shape, that S shape, and I thought, nah, that was something. And once again, because he's kind of browny, it did make me think possibly a rough scaled, but it's not looking good for them. But at least we found something else on the road, so never a bad sign. Oh my god, I do not believe what I have on the road here. This is a huge common deathadder, Acanthophis antarcticus, and this is the biggest deathadder I've ever seen, although I've only ever seen 2. This is just the best possible thing to see on the road. This is fantastic. I'm just getting a bit more footage while I can. Just to show you this snake on the move. That is an amazing thing to see on the road. Those stripes, that vibrant yellow caudal lure on the tail. What a privilege. It's always a treat to see these on the road. These are never easy things to find. And this is my second one, and if you believe that the adders on Magnetic Island are Prolongus, then this is my second species, and this is definitely Antarcticus. Well, I've just been taking some photos of this adder, so I thought, what an opportunity to do a little bit of footage as well and show you this amazing snake. Loads of stuff. What can I say about this snake? If you want some statistics, it is the fastest striking snake in the world, the deathaders. There's a few members of the genus Acanthophis. This one, as I've said, is Antarcticus, the common deathadder. Again, a key thing to talk about with these snakes is the convergent evolution with vipers. Of course, we are on Australia. This snake is an elapid, not a viper. But if we look at the snake, we can see it's got a short, stout body. It's got a narrow neck behind the head, which widens to a V-shaped head. Additionally, this snake, unlike a lot of Australian elapids, is not an active forager. It doesn't actively hunt its prey. This is a sit-and-wait ambush predator, similarly to the majority of vipers. It also gives birth to live young. This doesn't lay eggs, gives birth to live young, litters of I think up to about 30. And this one is a beautiful, compared to the one that I found on Magnetic Island, this is a beautiful dark browny colour, a lot of greys in there, whereas the one on Magnetic Island was a lot more orange. I'm getting absolutely eaten by mosquitoes, but it is well worth it for a snake of this calibre. I really hope the lighting on the snake is okay for this footage. I've just taken it to a slightly more natural setting. I've just done a bit of photography with it, which is always a really enjoyable experience because you do not get to see these often. This is only the second one I've ever seen. Again, like I always say with the target species, the target snake, it's so easy to spend a lot of time with them. Looking at these things, I'll just show you a different angle on the snake there. and then it is time to let them be and not disturb them too much. We've got our pictures. I can see that I've been filming for 2 minutes now, just in this clip, over 2 minutes, so it's time to leave this one be. Just as this snake cruised off, I took a bit of last minute footage because it was really cool to watch this snake moving around in its natural setting, as if it would be if no disturbance had occurred. Although it does obviously interfere with the snake more to move it, I do always move them off roads like this, because it would be far worse for the snake to get run over. And in this case, I actually made sure to take it a fair way off because I wanted to get a few shots of the snake as well. But as you'll see in the next clip, when these animals are active, it doesn't always work. Well, this happens unfortunately sometimes. I always say make sure you put a snake off the road the same way that it was going, and that's exactly what I did with this deathadder, but I've done a run down, run back up, and he's back on the road. I did think for a second it could be a second adder, but no, when I look at where I am, it's the same adder. I'm certainly not claiming another one. This one's clearly quite active, despite low temperatures. I was not confident, I thought it was about 20 degrees. Well, it is about 20 degrees. But this one's quite active. He's back out on the road, which is not a good sign. It's not a busy road, but hopefully this time he'll stay off. Because I've not had to move him, as you can see, he's just crawled off the road himself here. So we'll just leave this one be now, and hopefully he will now stay off the road. But I have to say, I'm certainly not cross it, being privileged enough to see the sight of a deathadder on the tarmac another time, because you really do have to savour moments like this. Let's keep going. We didn't get anything more that night, but the next morning we went for a swim at a local beach and saw this pod of bottlenose dolphins hunting shoals of fish close into the shore, so I thought that was worth putting in the video. Just some phone footage, but enough to show how close they got. We also saw this big male water dragon around our camp spot, which I wish I got the camera out for because it was a great specimen, and also this big lace monitor, which seemed really habituated and kept roaming around the camp. So although we didn't do any day herping as such, there was still plenty to see, and a stunning sunset over the lake before we got out for the second night cruising the roads. Sun's just setting now, and I'm not going to wait for dark. I'm going to head pretty much straight out onto the roads, just because we've got temperatures a little bit lower than I would like. So while we've still got daylight, I'm going to go out and hopefully we can see something on the road in that evening hour before it goes dark. And then once it goes dark, we'll continue cruising until, well, we'll see how we're going, if we're finding stuff or if we're not. But I'll keep going until I think those temperatures are giving us a little bit, well, at least half a chance of finding something, because I've just smashed a big drive right down from Brisbane. And it's surprising actually how much the temperatures have dropped from Queensland. So we'll see how we get on here, see if we can find something. Well, the first snake on the road before it's even fully dark is this little swamp snake, black-bellied swamp snake these are called. They're a little front-fanged elapid, and I have actually seen one of these before when I was on a walk in the daytime, but it sort of got away from me. I didn't have a camera or anything with me. One thing I will say is this is in the same genus as the grey snakes, which is the genus Hemiaspis, and I believe they're the only two snakes in the genus, but I might be wrong about that. If I am, I'll correct it in the comments. But because it's the first one of these snakes I've ever seen, I'm going to try and get a few pictures of this one, which might fail because he's very fast. I even wondered if it was a juvenile eastern brown when I got out of the car and walked up on it, but it started off the night well anyway. Slightly better angle real quick before we carry on with the cruise. Sorry if my phone's shaking a little bit. That's a good start to the night and a new species for me. Just grabbed a few quick shots and it was sitting a little bit nicer, so I thought I would do one last clip. But now we're going to keep cruising for the main targets. Next find on the road, not a snake, but a little Burton's legless lizard. We have seen plenty of these. Very variable little lizards, and that's a good sign that the temperatures are a bit better tonight. Differences, obviously, I've talked about the differences loads, but much longer tail. The cloaca is much further up this. If it was a snake, the cloaca would be perhaps somewhere like there, whereas this one it is somewhere about there, Very plain, this one, like I say, they do get very variable, but this one is just a plain brown one, and that sort of pale brown colour did make me think I might have been on for a rough scale snake, which is the main target of tonight, but no such luck. We'll get this one off the road, carry on cruising. Two consecutive nights we've seen 2 common deathaders. These are not, I promise you, these are not common snakes. Oh, I'm blowing him out a bit there. It's always special to find these snakes in the wild. And we've got another one. It's definitely a different snake. It's a fraction of the size. It's a much smaller snake. It's a slightly warmer night as well. So I don't know what to say. I can't believe we've got another one of these. I thought it was a little carpet python when I went over it. The first one last night, as soon as I saw it, I knew it was a deathadder. There was nothing else it could be with the stripes. But this one, being a bit smaller, I wasn't actually sure. But I've got out the car and I can't believe it. Similar colours to the other one, slightly less monochrome. This one's a bit more browny. We can see as well, if I'm careful, that caudal lure as well on the end of the tail. That's awesome, and I've got another opportunity to photograph deathaders. This is my 3rd deathadder in my life, ever. Acanthophis antarcticus. One of the iconic elapids of Australia. Mainly for not looking like an elapid. Yeah, this is truly lucky. I'm actually not finding the target species, which is a rough-scaled snake, but this is a rarer, more sought-after snake, so I'm certainly not complaining. Well, what more can I say, guys? Doesn't get much better than that. I think I'm in a pack with the devil or something at the moment. I've just had insane luck. And believe me, there's enough nights where you don't find anything that remind you how special these nights are. As much as you want to savour it, like I always say, we're going to have to hit the road now. But I just thought I'd better show you a little bit more footage of this awesome little elapid. I did just get a few more pictures of this adder sitting in a more naturalistic setting than the road, and then I watched it cruise off safely away from the tarmac. The temperature then dropped quite quick and no more snakes were seen that night, but hopefully you still enjoyed seeing the few snakes and lizards we did manage to encounter. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.